Howdy folks, AJ coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer, and today's video is going to be a heavy one. I'm going to talk about what happened today with the reported apparent suicide of Robin Williams. Now, I thought long and hard about this. I thought for about an hour. I went through and I thought about whether or not I was even going to do a video about this. However, there's a couple of connections that I feel that I have to this story. Number one, Robin Williams was a well-known lifelong gamer. He played D&D, he played console games, he played tabletop games, he played World of Warcraft, and everybody knows that. So from that standpoint, it's always especially sad when you feel like you've lost somebody that you feel is a peer. Obviously not as an actor or anything like that, but as a fellow gamer, you always feel sad about that. And of course, the fact that he was an immense talent that we all got to enjoy over the years and everything. But secondarily, the other connection that I feel I have to this story is that if it's true that he took his own life, and apparently that's what is being reported as being the case, and he was known to have a lifelong problem also, or long, I shouldn't use the term lifelong, but it was known that he had a ongoing problem with substance abuse and depression. So I feel that my other connection with this story is that for me, I went through a very dark period in my life. My wife and I had moved to Texas. I had a career opportunity there to get in on the ground floor with a company that was a startup. I'm not going to go into all the details, but the bottom line is the whole thing blew up in our face, as well as my best friend. He was there as well, on the thing, and we were, kind of betrayed by a mutual friend, and we had bought a house in Texas, and it got really, there was a stretch there in my life that was really bad. So I decided to move back to California. My wife and I decided to move back to California because I had another job opportunity there once we realized we weren't going to be able to stay in Texas anymore. And so during that period, I was unemployed. I had no insurance, and I found out that I decided I would go to the VA, Veterans Hospital, and at least get my ID card, because I am a veteran, honorably discharged, 5 years, Cold War veteran, overseas duty, the whole bit. And I was told by the Veterans Administration that I wasn't in the right category or whatever, and that Congress had decided at a certain point that they could not provide medical coverage for all veterans. So I said, well, can I at least get an ID card so that if I'm in a car accident or something, somebody knows that I'm a veteran and can get me to the VA hospital? Something? Nothing. Zero. As if I had never served my country or anything. As if anybody who Joe Blow walked in who had never served would get the same. I got the same answer that guy would get that had never served. So zero recognition. And then, of course, I found out that I could not, and I had never in my life drawn unemployment, but I found out that I couldn't get any from Texas because I guess I had not been there long enough. I guess you have to be there 2 years. And I couldn't get any from California because I hadn't worked within the last 6 months in the state of California. So I had no way of getting any employment, and I had no insurance. and I got no recognition that even being a veteran did anything for me. So I felt like basically the world just gave me the big F you, you know. And I went into a pretty dark place where I didn't give a shit about anything. Okay? I just did not care. Didn't care. Didn't. I was at a point where I was really close to getting into my truck and just driving east from California, not knowing where the hell I was going to go, what I was going to do, but the idea that maybe I'd make it to the East Coast and I would literally become a beach bum and try and find a job, unloading fish off of boats in the marina just to make enough money for beer and something to eat and sleep in my truck. I mean, that I was at that point where I didn't give a shit about anything. So, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that I have some really good friends who let me vent on them. They talk to me, and believe it or not, gaming helped lift me out of that dark place, because I realized that I could, regardless of what was going on in my life, I could always be creative. I always had a creative outlet where I could get into gaming and just get lost in another world for a little while, just as an escape. And people would say, well, that's no solution, escaping. Well, it was for me, okay? It sure as hell beat me getting in my truck and leaving my life and my wife and everything behind and just disappearing, because that's what I was going to do. I was going off the grid. No one was going to be able to find me. I was done. I was done with all of it, with house payments and jobs and career and marriage, and I was done with all of it. So it helped me realize that you could get out of this dark place. There was something else you could do that gave you joy and a feeling of adventure and everything else. So gaming got me out of that dark place, and I've never looked back. My wife and I moved up here to Utah, and I got back into gaming as I used to back when I was in high school and everything, and found out that it gave me a lot of joy, and it just kind of lifted my spirits. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you find yourself in that dark place, talk to people. There's always going to be friends that are close to you, family that are close to you, that you can talk to, that will hopefully lift you out of that dark place. Now in Robin Williams' case, maybe we have no idea. We don't know where he was and what he had tried to do to get out of that dark place. We don't know. But what I'm saying is, at least for me, my friends, family, and my hobby, regardless of whether your hobby is gaming. If you're watching this channel, it's probably gaming. It's one of your hobbies, but it could be other things. And always try to find that interest that takes you away from. If you feel like you have a shitty life and you need an escape, then find that escape. If that's what and don't turn to drugs and alcohol, because I tried that route too. Now, and I still drink beer, but there was that period there where it was I would drink to go to sleep at night, because I didn't. Yeah, my mind was going and going ape shit and everything, and I would drink to put myself to sleep, and so don't turn to that route, of course, but try to find somebody to talk to and try and get yourself out of that dark place. It worked for me. So anyway, we're sad to see Mr. Williams go. Whatever demons he was fighting, he apparently wasn't successful, and he felt this was the only way out. And I just hope that if anybody out there, I've only got 280 subscribers, and I lose them here and there. I gain about, I don't seem to, so I guess I'm going to stay about at 280, somewhere in that area of subscribers. Even if there's one person out there that I reach that that knows that if you do have that period of your life that you may go through that's a dark period, there's light at the other end. So we're up to a 10-minute video, and I know people aren't going to watch anything past that. So anyway, I hope you took something from this, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.